Germany's Interior Ministry says asylum applications fell by a third last year. In 2023, 322,636 people applied for asylum in Germany. That figure dropped by 34% last year to 213,499. Well, the new figures come amid a heated debate over immigration ahead of national elections here on the 23rd of February. Now, that follows a string of fatal attacks carried out by foreign nationals in Germany. Conservative leader Friedrich Merz pushed a non-binding motion through Parliament last week demanding a further tightening of border controls. That vote caused controversy as it was backed by the far-right AfD party. Tens of thousands of people demonstrated against Mr. Merz's move at the weekend because it was seen as breaking a convention of not working with the far-right in Parliament. Günter Krings is a member of the German Parliament for Friedrich Merz's Christian Democrats. So welcome to the day, Mr. Krings. So Friedrich Merz faced a lot of criticism after passing this non-binding resolution in Parliament on Wednesday with the support of the far right. Was he right to attempt this, given that he knew that it wouldn't pass without AfD support?
Yes, I say he and we were right, because it was not only his decision, it was a decision by my whole parliamentary group. And I think it was necessary because this is a pressing issue. You mentioned the numbers, but we have to be pretty clear that these numbers, even though they were fewer than in the last years, come on top of the many refugees and asylum seekers that are already in the country. And also the measures of the government have not really contributed to this slight lowering of the numbers, because it's just that a little bit fewer people come to Europe. This can change very fast, that if more people come to Europe, many more people come to Germany. So it was worth trying at least to have at least a first step of a solution here before the election, because in Germany, coalition agreements, it takes like many months sometimes to form a new coalition, and then it means that before maybe April, May, there will be not another chance to have a piece of legislation, to have a motion that will change things. So it was important, because of the pressing issue of illegal migration, to at least try to change something now.
And so, because a lot of people will be confused by this, you're in a situation where the parliamentary arithmetic says that you cannot get your motion passed without AfD support because everybody else is against it. So the only way for you to get this over the line is if the AfD supports it. And the background to that is a 34% decrease in asylum applications. So what's the logic there in doing this thing and trying to solve a problem which has been demonstrated to be less of a problem than you thought at the time?
No, the problem is still big enough. You know, if you count the last years, there were around 4 million asylum applications in the whole of Europe. Almost 3 million of those came to Germany. This is a situation which is unacceptable. The European Union was unable to do anything about it.
Please forgive me for interrupting, because you have made those points. Yeah. And it's just that when you said, you talked about a slight decrease in asylum applications. 34% is not a slight decrease. You, as well as that, you said that the government policies had not contributed to that. Well, if a government achieves 34% decrease by sitting back and doing nothing, again, your logic makes no sense. The government has demonstrated that it has controlled migration. Why, again, did you feel the need to press this button?
This decrease, whatever small or bigger, is not due and not caused by the government policy. Just fewer people came in 1 or 2 years to Europe. But we are now at the mercy of people deciding to come to Europe or not coming to Europe. We don't steer the whole thing, we don't control the whole thing, and we have to stop this. And it's also not true that we needed the AfD whatsoever in Parliament. Also the Liberals, the FDP, voted in favor of our motion and in favor of our piece of legislation. And we tried until the last moment also to get the SPD, the Social Democrats, and the Green into it. They were not ready to do it, even though the platform, the manifesto of the SPD also says and has the same things that we wanted to legislate in their party manifesto. Their state prime ministers are on our side, on our opinion. So it was very logical, would have been logical if at least the SPD would have supported us. They didn't do it just out of campaign reasons. They just want to campaign and not solve the problem.
Talk to us and our international audience. Talk to us about the so-called Brandmauer or firewall in German politics. It has been a strict convention here that nobody works with the far right. So just explain to our audience why that is so important in German politics and why relying on AfD votes to get your motion passed is not breaking this convention.
I'm not sure whether I can explain this firewall topic to anybody, even to my friends here, very close here on the Dutch side of the border. I'm almost can look to Holland here. They don't get it because they don't understand why you should not table your own motions if another party and even nasty people might vote in favor of it. So we're not supporting the AfD. We are not collaborating with it. We don't enter coalition agreements with this party. So this is what people might call a firewall. And I know something about firewalls because I was a volunteer fireman here in my village for many years. And a firewall only protects you temporarily. The main issue is to extinguish the fire behind the wall. And therefore, you have to make good political decisions. And this has not been done by the present government. So I think with not doing enough, this government just poured oil into this fire. And we want to stop and extinguish this fire. And so we use the firewall, we abide by the firewall because we say we don't cooperate with this party, but we have to solve the problem.
OK, I think that metaphor has been well and truly stretched.